A cute little great man, an oversized shovel, goop monsters, town development, fishing for weeds, cute little great man, sleep. This is Garden Story. Garden Story is a game where you play as this cute little great man named Concord as he fixes up his town, completes requests, and smooshes goop creatures. As you improve the town, you also level up Concord, allowing you to use more weapons, have more health, and add more buffs, building him up just the way you want him so he doesn't get turned into grape juice. Garden Story's gameplay is chill and well-paced, and there's always something to do or improve. And though there's a lot to do, the game does a great job of telling you what to do to move on to the next step. It excels in mixing and matching the combat with the more chill tasks, and the progression is steady and easy to follow, whether you're leveling up Concord or the towns he's building up. You start the game off in your cozy little cabin, sleeping in the cutest way possible, as a purple little ball. You get rudely interrupted by a plum who tells you that you need to do more stuff. That stuff mostly includes working down a list of requests put in by the good townspeople, or townsfruit, I guess. As you complete these tasks, you also level up the town, which in turn gives you access to higher tier items and upgrades in the shops. But the upgrades themselves aren't free. You need to collect different crafting materials found around the world. There are 4 areas to build up, all with their own unique materials, task sets, enemies, and upgrades. You travel around these places collecting stuff you need from that area specifically, and upgrade the towns to get the unique upgrades to Concord that doing so brings. After you've upgraded your town and Concord, you're ready to delve into that area's dungeons. The dungeons are super fun. Each one features multiple levels of bad guys to smoosh and puzzles to solve, ending with a boss to slay, some sort of upgrade for Concord, and progression for the story. After beating one of these dungeons, you unlock the next area where you do it all over again, gaining new weapons and abilities all along the way. Garden Story's gameplay does a really good job at always giving you something to do without it feeling too grindy. You typically just go around the area you're in, complete your tasks for the day, and collect any materials you need to do your next upgrade or make your next repair. Garden Story's progression is super satisfying and is readily apparent as you reach your goals. As an example of this, when I first started playing the game, I was annoyed at how little stamina Concord had. You could only swing your sword twice or run for about a second before he got plumb tuckered. This wasn't an issue for long though, because as you start getting better gear and different abilities, you can start popping these little bulbs that are scattered across the world. These add to either your health, stamina, or even increase the amount of buffs that you can hold. It was insanely satisfying to start having enough stamina to actually start doing things, and though it didn't take too long to get there, it felt well earned. The buffs are another really cool way to build Concord up, because there are a lot of choices on how you can go about it. You collect these buffs by finding statues of your predecessors and basically completing achievements. Swing your sword 50 times and you'll get a damage bonus for it. Drink the lowest tier healing 50 times and it starts to heal more. Stuff like that. It rewards you for just playing the game, and it builds you up depending on how you play, which I think is really cool. The progression in this game is incredibly well done and it's paced out perfectly. The combat in this game is a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be, especially after trudging through the early level dark days of only having 2 stamina. There's a ton of variety in the combat because of all of the different weapons that you can use to fend off the rot. Each of these weapons has their own attack patterns, upgrades, and even buffs that you can give Concord to change how they work. You can also upgrade their damage and speed through collecting materials, meaning you can pick your favorite weapon, upgrade the hell out of it, and buff yourself according to that weapon, which is pretty cool. This really means that there are many ways that you can play through this game. Note that you are able to switch weapons or buffs at virtually any time, which means that you're also not stuck playing the way you wanted to play at the beginning of the game. You'll find a bunch of enemies to fight too, but mostly you're just fighting these goopy bastards and their variants. There's not a huge variety of enemies in this game, but each of the different zones in the world offers slightly different versions of the enemies to introduce some variety. It's still not a lot though. While you're slaughtering your enemies, you're probably getting a lot of materials too, which build up in your backpack pretty quickly. Inventory management isn't usually my favorite element in games, but here I think it's done pretty well. As you collect the materials from different places around the world, it takes up a slot in your backpack. You have a limited amount of spaces in there, which is pretty annoying early in the game, but don't worry, it gets significantly better. Anyway, you just throw your crap into these storage boxes and then they're available in every town. This makes it so that the inventory management isn't such a pain in the ass, unless you forget to unload at the end of the day, meaning it's your own damn fault. On top of that, you can actually build more deposit boxes and other useful items in these special building areas, allowing you to customize each area to your liking and giving you a place to spend your hard-earned materials. Grape's gotta sleep too, and after a hard day's work, you can settle on your leaf and turn into your cutest form, Grape with no appendages and a face. Nice. Anyway, you need to go to sleep to progress to the next day, because at night the baddest baddies come out to wreck the place up, and you don't want to mess with them, especially in the early game. Bam! Grape juice. Sleeping brings you to the next day and also resets the task board and upgrades your town based on the tasks you completed. Each town upgrades separately, and you can only upgrade one town per day, depending on where you turn into a little cute grape ball. The tasks themselves aren't too hard to do, and therefore they're not too grindy either. Unless you grind them, I guess. For me, I casually completed tasks as I collected materials I needed to improve my towns or weapons. It all happened pretty naturally. And the topping on it all is that it doesn't really matter whether you do the tasks or not. Do them if you happen upon them, don't if you don't. You'll just miss out on a bit of town progression and a bit of cash, which in the long run isn't something to worry about too much. The task system and town management are incredibly well done, and though I could see a system like this becoming a mindless grind, it felt really chill and natural. Overall, a very pleasant experience, and very satisfying to see the fruits of your efforts. This game is cute as hell. I mean, look at it. Every character is adorable, and each environment is gorgeous. There's enough variety in each of the towns to keep it interesting, whether it's the general look, the enemies and allies inside it, or the music. Especially the music. The music in this game is incredible, and I found myself whistling the tunes often. My wife even joined in when I was playing next to her. Every environment has its own set of music, and it changes often enough that it always seems fresh, and sticks with me for the rest of the day after playing. Overall, Garden Story was a treat. There wasn't much that I didn't like about this game. It's a super chill game with certain elements that also bring some excitement into it. There's always something to do, and the sheer variety of it all makes it an absolutely worthwhile game to play. Thanks for watching. Like if you liked it, sub if you loved it, and I'll see you in the next one.